Hello everybody and welcome back to Micronova Metals. This is the 10th of February 2026 and I've received my newest toll refining job in the mail. And that job consists of some US constitutional silver. Most of it's pretty slick and beat up. A little bit of Canadian silver in there, coinage, and these blobs, which are the big question, because these were reclaimed from a house fire in some other state from where I live. And the idea is that they're sterling silver. I will be testing them for everything, including gold. So gold and silver. I don't recover anything else other than that. And it looks like, so we have a total of 302.64 grams of 90% silver. So maximum yield, we're looking at 272.3. For the Canadian coins, 29.6, which will give us 23.65, because the Canadian coins are a vintage of 80%. The Swiss francs, actually, I haven't looked that up yet. I need to do it. These blobs, why do I keep getting blobs? It's just I can't get away from blobs. My own won't die and dissolve completely, and I'm getting more. But here they are. But we're looking at 399 grams of weight. If they are indeed 0.925 sterling jewelry, like is the theory, at 369.08 is the maximum yield. So I am going to process these separately. 2 different beakers, 2 different yields, because I have a known here and I have a very unknown here. And I want to be able to articulate that to the client. So without further ado, I'm going to melt them into shot, weigh up the shot, and for each individual, the blob and the coins, and then go ahead and start putting them into a nitric boil. All right, and there's our shot from the constitutional coins. I put it into this beaker so I could tear it out and get a nice clear weight on it, and yeah, there was some residual sulfuric acid in that, so that's not gonna hurt anything. It's just gonna go into the acids and we'll never know it. Okay, so here we have the contents of the constitutional silver right there, and over here we have the contents of the blob. And something is not like the other. Constitutional silver, blob. What does that look like? It came out of the blob. Huh, probably nothing. Let's find out. Alright, I'm going to kick this off with about 100 milliliters of red fuming nitric acid, homegrown. And I'll put that much into each of the beakers. And I'm looking forward to finding out what's in beaker number 2. Beaker number 1, I know is constitutional silver. It's a known factor. Beaker number 2, however, has something shiny in a way that is not very silver-like at all. It's the wrong color. I'd love to say it's gold. It is way too early to know right now. But because I started this video not knowing, we're going to find out together. Hopefully it wasn't some just ratty costume jewelry that was recovered. And this is really, really hard to film like this. Very, very hard. If it's silver, everything will dissolve. Absolutely everything will dissolve and go into solution. If it's not silver and it's gold, then the only thing left behind will be the gold. And then I have to kind of restart with the inquartation, but I want to find out this way because it was an unknown, and I want to find out that it's something awesome. I've got my hopes up for that. So there it is. I'm going to try to readjust for filming this and see what we can find out together. So I can't pretend that I'm not a little geeked out right now. So to the left is a constitutional silver. It's 90% silver, 10% copper for US constitutional. And this is the blob. The reactions are completely different. Now there is noticeably more, at least another 200 grams worth of material in the blob than there is in the constitutional silver. So why are we getting a different reaction if the contents were not completely different? Gold will not dissolve under nitric acid. It will not. Silver and copper absolutely will. There's less going on in here. It leads me to believe. Maybe I'm just hoping a little too much, but not all of that is silver, sterling silver, like he thought it was. Okay, so in here is just the bar I melted really quickly out of the contents from the blob. It was initially coated and completely black out, so I put it in a dilute solution of distilled water and sulfuric acid, and it's completely clean. It has a very silver appearance to it, so I don't know what to think at this point, because I did put the gold looking pieces in there, or not all of them, but just a sample, just a small sample. So I don't know what weight that bar is, but I'm about to take it out because it looks clean and wash it off and give it a closer inspection. Okay, so we're about 6 hours into actually starting this project, maybe 4 hours into dissolving. This is the constitutional silver right here. So I'm going to start decanting, and I had enough materials maybe to do I should do another fresh nitric bath. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done and see what I've got left on the bottom. And for the nice gentleman that keeps asking why I persist in filming in portrait mode, this is why, because you can actually see what I'm doing here. I've tried the landscape mode, and it's really hard to capture everything. Get this filter wet it down real quick so it is good to go. And we'll find out what's on the bottom of this beaker. I know there's some shot left. Well, looks like my vacuum pump is frozen up. Alright, I'm back. Hair dryer for the win. We got the vacuum pump all freed up. Pardon me. Yeah, just the other day I was not paying attention, and some water got up too high in a vacuum flask, and that was it. But I'll get this filtered off and give you a peek as to what's left in it. You saw a little bit right there. Okay, so with the 90% silver, we are well on our way. There is a lot, relatively a lot of cemented silver out on in that beaker still, and there's the shells of that shot. Some of it's still solid. What it's doing is it's almost acting like gold filled, only the silver version of that, because when I melted it, it's kind of an alloy of silver and copper, and what happens is basically the nitric acid is eating the copper and displacing the silver, so there's a continuous cycle of silver cementing out until all the copper is dissolved, and then it will all go into solution. Checking the bottom of the beaker, I couldn't really see what was going on. So now that I see what I see, Our solution is beautiful. It's heavy with silver, I know it is. And I just need to get this refreshed and get the rest of it dissolved, and it will be ready early tomorrow morning. Okay, so our beaker with the remnants of the 90% silver coinage is back on the hot plate. Another 30 milliliters of red fuming nitric acid. Little watch plate friend to sit on top. Just gonna let that do its work. And then we're gonna move on to the blob, which is right in front, right here. We'll decant that off into a different vacuum flask and see what's in the bottom of that, because I would be really happy to see some indissolvable gold at this point sitting there. But we're gonna find out very soon. All right, at this point we're on to our mystery blob with, we don't even truly know it's not silver or gold, but there should be some remnants on the bottom. So we're going to decant that off. Now I see at the bottom already we have some silver chloride, which means that blob definitely contains some silver. How much is to be determined. And I'm going to let that continue to vacuum off and check out the remnants on the bottom when we get to that point. Okay, let's take a look at this for a minute. This is the shot that I made from the blob, and looking here, bright shiny quite yellow alloy that's right there. This is why I'm questioning whether or not there's gold in here, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe it was gold filled. But the other thing I'll point out is look how this is honeycombed. The acids ate out the have eaten out the copper, and then I got another little piece. If you look closely to the far left, there's another honeycomb. To the far right, there's two tiny little ones, and then there's this odd colored alloy right here. So I think I've mentioned already in this video that this blob came from a house fire, and this metal is reclaimed from that. I mean, clearly there's silver in it. We know because we were forming silver chloride in there, in that vacuum flask. So, I mean, time's gonna tell. I did just test the solution for gold in there. There shouldn't be any in there at this point anyway, but it was a negative test. So we're gonna put this back into a nitric bath. And I would just go ahead and do it now, except that I denox this with some sulfamic acid. So I need to get this out of here and into here, all the fluid, and before I can restart this. All right, let's take a quick look down there. You can see all the honeycombing, all of it. And I'm not saying I never see something like this, but never see it quite like this. I could feel like a darn fool by tomorrow afternoon if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's that copper's been chewed away and left some weird shaped shells that I normally do not see. So back into a nitric boil this goes. Got to eat that up if it can be eaten. And we got some cement silver in the E's going to solution as well. So I will check in with you tomorrow. It's late. It's about 11, maybe 11:30 at night, and I'm ready to call it a day. Okay, so we are on day 2 here, and I have this right here, which was just the coins, foreign and domestic, that needs to be decanted off into here. And then I have this, which is the Mystery Blob, and which we know at least has silver because it made some silver chloride that I'll decant off into another container. And in the bottom of this container down here, there seems to be some insolubles, and so I'm going to literally get to the bottom of that, take the granules, and if I deem that they look like something that nitric isn't going to dissolve, then I'm going to put them into some hydrochloric acid boils and then some aqua regia after a few hot water rinses. So I'm going to get at it and I'll share the results with you. Alright, time to make some space on my workstation. That's just, I'm not quite done filtering that out, but I need space and I need glass, so I've just washed up this 3-liter beaker. I'm going to pour off this silver nitrate solution. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful stuff. That's just some silver chloride that came out during the process. You saw it on the early segment of the film. Okay. And I am going to go ahead and add in the other vacuum flask that has it in. This was the solution that I filtered out and reduced what had not dissolved to that point into a 500 milliliter beaker. It is convenient finally having a vacuum flask of this size. Looks like there's some ice crystals on the side of it though, because it gets cold in here at night. Okay. That's the most of it. I'm gonna have to put this in a little warm temperatures to get the rest to thaw out, but it's just a little skim coat on the bottom. While that last little bit of silver nitrate is filtering off, I wanted to clean this up a little bit. You can see the chunkage down there, but it was still had some of the nitrate on it. I noticed that some of the pieces look a bit like the result of a nitric boil of imported scrap. So I'm going to actually rinse all of this off and get it into this beaker here, into the vacuum flask. What's left. And I want a nice look at the insolubles in here, because if it's gold, I want to start treating it like gold. Still leaning very heavily towards some of the material in that house fire jewelry box melt or whatever it was may have been gold filled. As a matter of fact, there was some toning on it that kind of indicated that anyway, as the blob. So I'll get this finished up and show you the results. Okay, so all the filtration is complete, and I'll show you in a second here what I ended up with. But we're going to add this much more dilute silver nitrate. It's subject of a lot of rinsing from the blob particles, and so we are going to go ahead and convert this to silver chloride. And the way we're going to do that is with concentrated hydrochloric acid. So I'm just going to start dumping this into here till it ceases to make the white cloud. And I'm going to get this settling actually so that I can move on and start treating the remnants of the blob as if they were in corded gold to see if that's what it is, or if I just got excited and I'm going to look foolish. But I'm good with it one way or the other. I'd rather it be gold, but I'm really good at looking foolish. We're still making silver chloride here. I'm going to have to divvy this up into 2 containers. This is a lot of fluid and a lot of material. Still making it. Holy smokes. Alright, so I'm going to cease this right here and give it a chance to settle and splash it with more hydrochloric acid after it has settled. That's quite a bit. It's only a 3-liter beaker, but okay, there it goes. Look how quick that starts to settle. And as much as it is, you wouldn't believe how little it is for those of you who don't know yet. I think our ultimate conversion, I'm trying to remember now by my notes. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, I can't see on my notes what the total conversion is supposed to be. I'm not going to take the time to do that. I'm just going to keep this going. All right, I'm going to go off camera for a few minutes and get set up for the next phase. All right, a couple more quick splashes. It's been 2 minutes, by the way, guys and gals. 2 minutes, and it's still wow. I am running out of room here. Okay, well, I will say it compresses pretty easily. It bubbles almost like it's on a boil. Alright, I'm not going to waste the screen time for this. I'm just going to add it till it's done off camera. Okay, and rapidly moving on, here's the remainder of the shot that did not dissolve. And I'm just going to move forward and start giving it some hydrochloric acid boils. Do a better job of rinsing that, but I'll do that when it's in the smaller beaker. It's just unwieldy at this point. I just cannot seem to get it quite clean. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Some of that cemented silver, but all right. I'm gonna go get that ready and completely clean for hydrochloric acid, and I'll be right back. Alright, well, here is what is left of the best version of clean shot that I can get right now. I'm going to cover it up with hydrochloric acid, and the ratio is supposed to be 4:1. Oh, that's making a nitrate. Wow, or I'm sorry, chloride, isn't it? It's okay. It'll precipitate out in the filterings, and I think a little splash of sulfuric acid to precip out any lead. And then I will get it on the hot plate and start dosing in some nitric acid. Just a little bit. And then onto the hot plate. Go. Well, I have to correct myself, my procedure here. I am not putting nitric acid in right now. I'm just going to let it boil in hydrochloric acid. Okay, so I have done the first hydrochloric acid boil. Gave it a nice hot water rinse with distilled water. Got roughly 10 mLs of red fuming nitric here. I normally dose this in about 5 milliliters at a time, but there's quite a bit of material in there, so there's almost 100 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. It's a it's supposed to be a ratio of 3 to 1, so 3 parts hydrochloric, 1 part nitric. And so we're going to let that do its dance, and if it turns out to be gold, then I'm going to dance, and maybe my client too. There's the aqua regia doing its work, and that's just going to be a patience game at this point. Okay, I think it's time to do a stannous test. I'm hoping. It doesn't really look like a tremendous amount has dissolved, but we're going to find out here in a second if I can get my act together. All right, here we go. Bring that over and around. Okay, just to handle it easier. I'm not really seeing anything. There looks like there might be the tiniest little stain right there, but yeah, I don't know. Not a lot of hopes there. I might just end up getting that hydrochloric acid off tomorrow and putting in a fresh nitric boil. I think it's time to get some of this fluid, this copper chloride, off of the silver chloride now. I'm running out of steam, so I might just do this in a couple of hot water rinses since I have that ready. And just call it a night at that point. There's way too much in here to do it all. I got some ending up in this beaker too, so we'll have to let that settle and decant. Wow, that's pretty rocking. I'm going to go ahead and get the easy stuff out real quick. I've got a brand new project bucket for this project, so I think I'm going to dump this into there and let it settle overnight, and then reclaim it in the morning. There it is. So I'll finish this up, give it try to divvy it up if I can tonight, and give it some hot water rinses. Okay, it's time to do an ammonia test. I have gone through over 2 gallons of distilled water to get to this point, and I do believe I'm still seeing a tint of green in there, which would indicate copper. So I'm just gonna get some of this in here, grab some ammonia. If it's any color other than perfectly clear, like a blue or tinge towards purplish, then it's not clean yet. So a splash of ammonia, and that articulates my point right there. Put this down. Yeah, blue. Man, it is a lot of rinsing when you start getting quantities of silver. So, okay, back to rinse. Okay, I am at least half a dozen rinses since I checked on camera with the ammonia. And 3 rinses ago, I was quite clear. So I'm going to try this now. I mean, look how clumpy this is. The cleaner it gets, the less it wants to separate, and that can be frustrating sometimes because it wants to hold on to the fluid as well. But we'll do this one together because I believe we're in the clear now. And if we aren't, then we deal with that frustration. Put more effort in, right? Okay. Yeah. Some more frustration. I can still see some copper staining in there, so we are not done. We are just not done. Okay, the thought just occurred to me that I have been rinsing with distilled water every time this, or cleaning this beaker with distilled water, cold distilled water actually, every time I've done the ammonia test. And I am going to quickly do another test and see what happens now that I've just washed it with boiling hot distilled water. And now I'm going to put it against the relative whiteness of my vent hood. Yeah, I'm not happy with it yet. Okay, more rinses. Okay, here we go. 3 rinses later of boiling hot water. It's been boiling the whole time. It comes out of my lab coffee pot and goes into one that I bought from the thrift store. I don't know. I still think that changed color. Yeah, still not done. All right. Okay, let's try it again. I'm gonna get the bulk of this wastewater off. Just captured that. Let's see what happens. Watching it like a hawk here. All right, there, finally. Just check it against something white. All right, we are golden. All right, time to convert this. So here's the other half of that batch. So well, I've got the water just rocking and rolling out. I may as well continue. I don't think I'm going to do the conversion from silver chloride to silver oxide on camera. You guys seen me do that enough times, just running my yip on it, and this is just too much of a quantity here for me to slow down. I've got a client to get back to. My second set of rinses are done. This is the second beaker that had half of the silver chloride produced from our silver nitrates. All done, passed the ammonia test with flying colors, and just to show you how much water it took, I mean, this is that's this far from the top. Yeah, 5 gallons easy all day. But it just means a lot to me for my clients that it gets clean as possible.
Okay, so respirator is on and safety goggles. It's time for a conversion from silver chloride to silver oxide.
Okay, here's the 2 dueling banjos here. There's no way I was going to convert that with the sugar, adding sugar to it in one beaker, because that's when it gets really, really hot. And my goal is to keep it at 160 to 170 and below. And if I had done that, because it was all the way, well, by the time before I decanted, the level was all the way up here, so I had to split the two. and it would boil over and make what's called refiner's napalm. And this is the one thing I'm going to say on every video that I make. When you're using the sugar and or the lye and sugar conversion, it gets hot and the water might boil with the lye, but when you add the sugar, it can go volcanic on you. And I really, really mean it, volcanic. You can't act fast enough. If it happens, you can't get away from it, and it will burn you like napalm. It'll chemically scar everything around you, and losing the metal to the floor will be not the biggest thing on your mind. So be careful, please. Okay, well, there is our silver in the Corningware ready for drying. It was quite the puddle down in this area here. I just piped the water out. So I gotta spread this out. It's gonna go up probably on that one over there. I got a special cover to stop it from popping out if it gets a little hot in one spot. But I don't use heat enough really to make that worry. So now it's just time to clean up some glass, tidy up my shop, and I'm hoping that this is dry in a, I don't know, it's like 3 o'clock right now, so maybe by 8, 9 o'clock tonight, if it goes well, it will be dry.